Yo, what is up, guys? XRP's at $1.38 right now in CoinMarketCap. Our first tweet comes from Archie XRPL. Jerome Powell's last dance is today, and the XRP army is ready to celebrate. No more Jerome interfering, no more rate hikes crushing risk assets. Markets are about to pump on his departure. Kevin Warsh incoming or Judy? Clarity Act, momentum building, market structure bill gaining steam. XRP Las Vegas starts tomorrow. Got a feeling the bottom is in. We are about to moon. XRP army. Our next tweet comes from Jungle Inc. XRP. Unfortunately, Clarity Act hasn't seen much progress. Charles Schwab Network lays out two possibilities. 1. Clarity Act passes and altcoins like XRP go vertical. 2. Clarity Act gets punted to 2030 and we all die. Let's watch this video.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen much progress. You mentioned the 120 crypto firms, including Coinbase, Ripple, a bunch of the other ones that sent a letter to the Senate Banking Committee demanding that they essentially schedule a markup on the Clarity Act. Now, lately, the Senate Banking Committee has been bogged down a bit with Warsh and the confirmation hearing, everything that's going around there. But they're really going to need to act fast if they want to get anything done. I'm going to lay out two quick scenarios here. Scenario one is that the Clarity Act passes by the end of May. Senator Bernie Moreno has came out and said, has essentially warned the market, if we don't get this done by the end of May, we risk it being shelved until 2030. So let's say we get it passed. Then I would expect a broad altcoin rally led by some of those, XRP, Solana, and other tokens that essentially benefit from commodity classification. There are other things like Bitcoin probably hitting about 80K. That would be a resistance level, which it might break through. And then some of these other stablecoin tokens we think would perform pretty well. On the other side, let's say the bill gets delayed. Then all of a sudden we're going to be in risk off mode. Bitcoin probably retreats down to around 70, 73,000, seeing some support there. So I think that would be the level to look for. And then we'd probably see even steeper drops in some of those altcoins because they're a little bit more highly correlated to this regulatory sentiment.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Watcher Guru. Today, Jerome Powell will deliver his last FOMC press conference as Federal Reserve Chair. Our next tweet comes from @Rupar. Sorkin, you just said Powell could cash in, should cash in on his role as Fed Chair. What do you say the same thing about a senator who finished their term? I think the American public thinks that's untowered. Senator Kevin Cramer. I think as a nation, we're cynical toward anybody that does figure out how to make a little bit of money. Let's watch this video.
Senator, can I just double click on something you just said, which is this idea that Jay Powell should be able to cash in on his role as Fed Chair. And yeah. When I heard you say that, my antenna went up because I thought to myself, would you say the same thing about a senator who finishes their term? Should they go cash in?
Senators never finish.
Or a congressperson cash in. And the reason I mention this is because I think the American public, to a large degree, looks, unfortunately, at these roles and the credibility of these roles and says that there is this revolving door, if you will, where people are taking advantage of the government work in ways that are untoward.
No, sure. Well, I don't know. First of all, nobody gets wealthy being a senator unless they are doing something untoward. I've been in the Congress for almost 14 years now, and I haven't figured out how to get wealthy. I haven't had a pay raise. That's okay. I've chosen that lifestyle, and I'm comfortable with it. It's more my background anyway. That said, what I worry about, Andrew, is that as a nation, we are cynical toward anybody that does figure out a way to make a living or make a little bit of money, either prior to government service or after government service. What we're creating today, in many cases, is a club in Congress where you have to be wealthy before you can run for Congress, and that's unfortunate. I think all of that; those are potential problems, but I think the character of the person is what matters the most. And when I say, cash in with regard to Jay Powell, he doesn't need probably any more wealth. It might not surprise you to know that every member of the FOMC is a millionaire. Not that that's such a high bar anymore.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Master Crypto HQ. Every time the Fed gets a new chair, markets dump. Yellen came in, drawdown. Powell came in, drawdown. Powell's second term, drawdown again. 3 times in a row, not a coincidence anymore. Warsh is walking in next month. Nobody is pricing this in. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes every single time. Stay careful out there. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. XRP has been successfully tested on the SWIFT network by more than 11,000 banks. Let's watch this video.
SWIFT is the preeminent messaging system for the financial industry, which covers, say, payments, FX, trade, in terms of securities, etc., NOSTA reconciliations, etc. What we're looking with the crypto, though, is where SWIFT would have a store and forward system for most of its payment transactions, where you need service level agreements that in a certain time I will do something, the payment turns up at a certain time during the day. Here we're looking at the new network styles, which allow instant, real-time movement of the funds and visibility of those funds as well. So we would not have a situation where banks need to come back to you and say, have my funds arrived? It's 3 days later. I need to find out or find query messages moving around the network. It's nothing like that. I don't believe Ripple is going to replace SWIFT. Ripple is one of the complementary networks, which is going to allow those institutions who need real time to make use of that. And I think we're also seeing that SWIFT are changing their network capability so that real time will be a possibility as well. But we may also see Ripple XRP moving across the SWIFT network as a currency when we're perhaps using something like FX.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Potato TR. US DOJ closes Powell investigation. Warsh's path cleared. Our next tweet comes from ZBits33, XRP Las Vegas. Let's watch this video.
Check it out. Do you see what I see? Oh yeah, that's XRP. Let's fucking go, baby. Yo. Check it.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Ripple X. Can XRP hit $5 in 2026? According to analysts, 4 things need to go right. Clarity Act passes, Fed turns dovish under new chair Warsh, institutional ETF demand accelerates, whale accumulation holds. All 4 are in motion, none are guaranteed. Our next tweet comes from Steph's Crypto. Huge Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse says up to $10 trillion could flow into XRP. Let's watch this video.
The macro environment around custody digital assets is expected to be close to $10 trillion by the year 2030. And inevitably, people are going to need a place to store those assets and safe, secure, and they're going to need to be able to transfer them as well, having good on and off ramps, even a tokenization engine, some of the work Ripple is doing around central bank digital currencies or CBDCs. So we think there's a lot of pieces that come together, and we already had, and I remember when you and I first spoke, I remember being on a call with one of the largest top 10 banks in the world, and a bank Ripple was already working with, and they were asking us about, could we help them with their custody? This is prior to the Medico acquisition, and we weren't in a position to do that. And so when we think about that synergy, the ability to say to that existing Ripple customer, hey, here's a best in class, the macro environment around custody.
What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Rover. Brace yourself, Bitcoin holders. I've been tracking Bitcoin price action around every FOMC meeting since July 2025. The pattern is brutal. Every single Fed meeting since then has triggered a hard drop in Bitcoin. No exceptions. Tomorrow's FOMC is unlikely to be any different. All signals point to a bearish pivot soon. Position accordingly. Follow for more. Let's watch this video. What do you guys think about that video? Comment down below. Subscribe.